and welcome to an F1 Checkered Flag special. I'm Andrew Benson, and at the Belgian Grand Prix, I sat down with two-time world champion Fernando Alonso for an in-depth interview. We discussed his return to fighting at the front with Aston Martin, why he's seen as a bad guy in Formula One, and for the first time, his thoughts on the Hungarian Grand Prix in 2007, where he picked up a penalty for delaying McLaren teammate Lewis Hamilton in the pit lane, causing a major feud between them and the McLaren team. Plus, Alonso discusses his time with Alpine, which won't make pleasant listening for their former team principal, Otmar Szafnauer. This is an F1 Checkered Flag special with Fernando Alonso. Fernando, thank you for talking to us. Now, you and Aston Martin and your return to the front, you've kind of been the story of the season so far. So what were the emotions for you? You've been in uncompetitive cars for so long. What was it like when you finally realised that you were competitive again?
Yeah, it was a nice surprise. Obviously, we had high hopes in winter and when I joined the team last year. But to put the car on the track in Bahrain and find out that we were fast and the confirmation in the first couple of races with a few podiums, that was an incredible feeling, something that I was hoping for many years, first at McLaren and then in Alpine, and then I found this great car, fast car, a little bit unexpected, but very proud of the team and what they did on this car.
In Bahrain during the race, the sort of joy was almost tangible on the radio when you were, doing those messages about yes and bye-bye and so on as you overtook Hamilton and Sainz. When did you realise first that it was going to be like this? Was it actually during that race?
I think during qualifying already and free practice we found this pace on the car, and winter was great for us in terms of time lapse and degradation, but you never know what fuel loads and tires the others are running in winter testing. So I think during free practice and qualifying in Bahrain race 1, no one hides anything anymore. And I went into the race thinking that top 5 or even a podium was possible. It was just because I think Leclerc had a problem. If not, maybe P4 was the realistic target on that race. And from that point, I think we only just got more confidence in the car, and we pushed a little bit harder in the next few races.
Now, you got overtaken a month for that move on Hamilton in Bahrain, and it was the first of 2 actually. But I saw a video of you saying that it was easy, but I'd never seen it in Formula One before. So,
well, I mean, we had a different pace in that moment. I had newer tires, and I think it was spectacular in the way it was and the corner that was. But because it's not normal in Bahrain, you wait for the DRS straight, and then you get an easier overtake than 10-10. But I was just in a different pace in that moment. My car was faster, and sometimes in Formula One it happens like this when you meet some of the great drivers with big names, legends of the sport as Lewis, and you get that possibility of overtaking him. He makes a lot more noise in media and with the fans and things like that. But actually, the technical side of the overtaking or whatever maybe is less, or it is less rewarding than some other overtakings that maybe you do in the weekend that they are not shown on TV.
What's it done to your mindset and approach, this new competitiveness? Because I remember the last time we spoke, you told me about how when you're racing at the front, you kind of get to a different level of intensity. Has it been like that this year?
Yeah, it is. I got back to that level of intensity and adrenaline and I don't know. I think the level of preparation and the detail into things on the weekend is a different level this year, because you are competitive, so you don't want to miss anything. You want to have everything clear with the team, with the strategy, with the tires. There are things that you put an extra effort this year, so you dedicate. It's not that you are lazy or less professional in some of the other seasons that I've been racing, but this year you put that extra.
Now, Have you noticed how warmly it's been received? You return to the front. You've been cheered
Yes.
everywhere. You've become a social media hero. Although I guess you were a bit before already, sniffing the flowers in Miami. Joking about Taylor Swift, and I mean, I guess it would be wrong to say you're living your best life because you want to be at the front. But would it be fair to say you're enjoying the chance to remind sort of old fans of what you're about, and new fans, I guess the same thing?
Absolutely. I think it has been a great welcome, as you said, from everyone, that I go back to a more competitive positions. Also for Aston Martin, everyone is happy for a new team to join the fight. We see on the grandstands as well a lot of green color. And as you said, the old fans, that they still remember some of the good days. It's good to show them and to prove to them that I can still quick and enjoy my driving. And for the new fans that maybe they never saw myself on a podium or whatever, it's good to have this possibility again.
From the outside, it almost looks like you're happier than you've been for a long time. Is that right?
I don't think so. I think every year or every time that I change team or whatever, people always say that, that I seem more relaxed and I seem happier and I seem to enjoy a little bit more. But I don't know. I've been hearing these things for many years now, but more or less I'm always okay. Obviously more frustrated when I cannot deliver the results, happier when everything goes well. But I'm more or less balanced always.
Okay, so it's obviously an interesting situation at Aston Martin. You're the faster driver in the team, but your teammate is the boss's son, and almost like a team owner himself, I guess. You don't try to pass him when you're behind him. You offer him tips in the middle of the race over the radio. It's all very harmonious. Now, some cynical people might say, you know what side your bread's buttered, or you're trying to keep the boss sweet or whatever. Can you explain the dynamic in the team?
No, I think it's very simple. Obviously, we are now in a moment of the team that we still need to improve in many areas. We have a fast car, but we still need to grow as a team in many, many different areas, and development and the factory. There is this new factory in Silverstone that obviously it is amazing, but it's only a few months that is working. So I think for us in the team and for me as the most experienced driver now at Aston Martin, I know what my role is. Try to help the team to grow in all these areas. Try to help Lance as well in anything that I can bring to the team, because I will race for a few more years, but I don't know how many, not so long, and he will race for many more years, and he have to lead the team into the future. So I'm happy to help. And I don't know. I don't think there is much more mystery on this. We have a good relationship now. We are not fighting for the championship. If we were fighting for the championship, maybe there are less, communication, or there are a little bit more tension between, the team or the drivers. But right now, I think we have very clear goals, and we work together into that direction.
Now, you've talked before about why you left Alpine, and it's obviously turned out to be a fantastic decision. But one of the things that I don't think I've ever heard you asked is whether you felt that you were disrespected in any way by them. They were talking about you were maybe going to get too old, your performance was going to drop off. They were openly talking about you not being that fit or going off to endurance racing. What was going on there? Was that part of the whole decision? How you felt that they weren't respecting you?
Probably, yes. I don't know. I felt always respected. I don't think that I felt disrespected. But I don't know. It's true that it took longer than what I thought when we started the conversations. I think it was back in Australia in 2022 about renewing the contract. It was just on a very slow pace, and it was not from my side. I was just ready and I was just happy. And the 2022 car, it was a fast car, so I was also happy with the performance and the possibilities into the future. So, yeah, that slow pace of conversations and eventually not even putting on paper what we were writing and all these comments about the age or whatever, which they're still doing now, Oldman and things like that, which it is even more incredible. So now I don't think. I don't feel that it was disrespectful. I think it's the way they do things, or the way that Otmar does things. Because after this year, that he should be quiet, he should not talk at all. After the results of Aston Martin and the results that he's achieving, he's still talking and he's still proud of the decision, which is incredible. It's amazing. So it's the way they do.
Do you think they underestimated what you brought to the team?
100%, and still do.
Now, after the famous day or 2 days after the announcement, Otmar did a press conference in which he said he couldn't get hold of you because you were on a boat in the Greek islands. And then later that day, you posted a picture of yourself in Oviedo in the park,
Yep.
in the centre of town. You knew what you were doing there, right?
I know that I was in Oviedo. Yeah.
But you didn't. So you didn't. Had you been watching what he was saying?
No,
It
I
wasn't
didn't.
a big sort of two fingers up.
No, I didn't. I mean, I was, as I said, we cannot lose too much time on that. I was happy with the decision. It proves that it was even better than everyone could imagine. And, it's better not to think too much. But, yeah, these kind of things, when you are doing the best you can every weekend, when I did so much and so many things for Renault as well, this you take a little bit personal, when someone is doubting, of your performance or your age or these kind of things. And, you just want to prove even extra hard that you are in the best, moment of your career. And, the results, they speak for themselves, and that's the best way.
Yeah. Now, in the Netflix episode that was about that whole situation, you said something that I found very interesting. You said, we're very selfish drivers in general, but in F1 there has to be always good characters and bad ones, heroes and anti-heroes. I'm on the dark side. What did you mean by that?
I think because, even this thing with Alpine or whatever, you need to sell the story. You need to tell, which ones are the good ones and the bad ones. And eventually, because, they have more power or more exposure or whatever, the Piastri and myself were the bad ones, that we were just playing. And on the first days of August, we were I was moving to Aston Martin, and Piastri was answering the tweet or something of the confirmation of the driving. So, this is part of the job as well. And in every race, in every discussion, in every polemic, there is always good part and bad part. There are good guys and bad guys. And they normally, people in general or media or whatever, they had put me always on the bad side. And like if I was doing something wrong or whatever.
How do you feel about that?
I feel okay. I feel good.
You don't mind?
I don't mind. And, there
you
are...
enjoy playing up to that image?
No, I don't enjoy in particular, but there has been always like this. I'm maybe Spanish, I'm Latin. I didn't have, much support, or we don't have that media train, that can take everything out. We are just a small country from south of Europe, and we just take everything that is not right, and we're okay.
But you must feel admired, surely. You know that everybody admires you.
Yeah, absolutely, and fans as well, and and teams as well, which are the most important part of this game. Every time that you have to sign a contract, or when you are in Formula One for 21 years, and people still want you, and still to get interest of how many years you have contract, because they may get some interest in having your driving for the future and things like that. These are the most important part. Whatever is happening on the outside is just part of this circus, because this is a great show inside and off track as well. And you need to play a character, whatever is designed to you.
Do you think you're misunderstood because of some of the things from the past, like Hungary 2007, for example, or GP2 engine?
The things that had been talked and had been published on some episodes, for sure, could lead to some misunderstanding. Like as you said, 2007, the Hungary thing. Until no one hear my version or the truth of the version or the facts of the version.
You've never said it, Fernando.
I said that I never hold anyone. Yeah. They just put me all tires when it was a qualifying. So there is the radio transcript. There are the decision from the stewards, which is written that they put me a penalty on an article that it didn't exist. So they just put the penalty, but just clarifying that it was not for any article and things like that. And it was my team putting a protest against myself, which is the first time in the history of the sport. So when you put all these kind of things and you don't see the facts, obviously it is difficult to clarify some misunderstandings.
Have you always felt that people are out to get you in a way like this?
No, not really. I think it was some episodes. When you are 20 years on a competitive level in any sport, I think you will get some of these episodes. I think all the important names. If we go to tennis or to football or whatever, with all the respects, for any of the players in football, maybe the right midfield of one small team gets some episodes and no one knows anything about them. If Ronaldo or Messi or some of the big players, sometimes they get a yellow card or red card or whatever interview or whatever, there is a big thing, a big history behind. So I think I found myself sometimes in those situations.
There's a lot of warmth and respect between you and Max Verstappen at the moment. Do you see yourselves as kindred spirits a bit, do you think?
I think so. I like Max. I think it's a driver that just come on Thursdays to the circuit, dress in a Red Bull uniform, race Saturday and Sunday, and leave the track and go back home. And still racing on sim racing or in GTs with the father, or just enjoying motorsport in general, but having a normal life. Coming also from Netherlands with not much maybe background of Formula One and things like that, but I think he's still a very normal person, just loving motorsport. So, and he's very fast, and I think his attitude and behavior here in the circuit, I think is very normal, and I like these kind of things.
I spoke to Helmut Marko the other day. He said that you and Hamilton are the only two drivers who are anywhere near Verstappen's league. What do you make of that? Do you agree?
Not much, because Helmut is another of those characters that Formula One needs. He's good. It was a good day for his answer, towards me, but it can be the opposite the following day, so it's okay.
So what's the targets for the rest of the season and beyond that? Are you already thinking about staying beyond 2024?
Not thinking too much into the future, thinking on this year's only. The target is to keep growing as a team. I think we are finding some obstacles right now. We are just dealing with some extra performance from our opponents, our lack of performance in certain circuits, and these kind of things, which I find very interesting and very useful for us, as a team, to grow up. We will always find difficulties and some obstacles in the way, and it's up to us now how to deal with those and how to overcome those difficulties. And I think the team is really clever in some of the approaches that is taking now, and even if we are struggling a little bit in this middle part of the year, I think it will make us stronger in the future. So I'm quite optimistic.
And you're happy with yourself and your own level, because you're very self-critical. I'm
happy, but there's still obviously room to improve. Only the first 6 months with the team, and there is more to come.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.